All right. Bang on time as usual. Let's go. Man, the first comment I read is Scouts are the best. You know that this is going to be a bad stream when that's the first thing you read. There's no good that can come from this stream now. Like, none at all. Like, how can that be the first thing I read? Did I beat Silent Hill 4? No, I haven't. I'm still in the building world. We may finish it tomorrow, though. From what I've been told, speaking to a friend, there's still quite a bit to get through. Speed running, if you know, is still like an hour and a half, so there's probably about another 4 or 5 hours worth to get through still, which is impressive. But apparently, once you get past the building world, it starts to get really trippy, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. Paul, I'm not late. I saw the Scousers message there. I couldn't, there's no way I could have. How we'll do, folks? How are we doing? Been a pretty interesting week, especially with the info dump from that Bloomberg article, right? That was a pretty interesting. It was pretty interesting to say the least. So we're gonna. What did you do this time? The first thing I read when I walked in, someone said Paul was the best, and I'm like, that can't be the first thing I'm going to read. That's just terrible. But I thought it was interesting that Tom Clancy's The Definitive Edition has released. It is £45, $44.99, and you get everything. In this bundle, you get the whole shebang. You get it all. All the attire and everything. And there has been no updates to the game at all. None. At all. Like, this is literally, they've just bundled everything together and said, here you go. No updates to the graphics, no updates to some quality of life features that they probably could have implemented. Absolutely none. They just literally just decided, hey, we're going to do the bare minimum, put it all together because no one's buying those packs individually, and say, here you go, buddies. Take it or leave it. If you already own it, you already own it. It's the same game. There's no difference to it, gaming. It's literally the exact same game. There's been no updates to it, no improvements, nothing. It's literally the same game. They literally just put all the DLC together in one pack. So when you download it, all of this just pre-installs. Or you've got the option to pre-install all of these as you're installing the game. That's it. Hey, Sinceres, how's it going? Did he? Well, at least he's getting views for it. What works, right? Oh yeah, this bundle's a waste of time. But it is a pretty good deal. Ultimately, you know. You get the game. And you get the season pass. You get all of this stuff. You know, you're saving a lot of money if you've never played it. But if you have played it, you've got all of these updates. I think no, I've got all of these. These are just apparel at this point, all of these. So they're just cosmetic, exclusive sort of shotgun. Last Stand is PvP only, so if you don't care about that, you wouldn't dive into that anyway. Underground was really good, and Survival was good as well. So technically, if you're getting these two and this, you kind of save a bit of money on that. But for an extra $5, you get everything else. So it's not a bad deal. Xbox is such a huge target that you can throw a dart in the dark. You will most likely hit it for some clicks and traffic. Hey man, look, if you try to do positive news, you don't get any clicks or views. If you try to do just normal gaming news, you don't get any clicks or views. The only things that today get views is Xbox bad, and you're seeing a bunch of people now putting it into their titles as well, just so they can get the algorithm going, and of course salt content. Hey Steve, how's it going? But yeah, so this just dropped. No fanfare, no tweet, no nothing. I didn't find anything. I just saw some random people shocked that this was actually a thing. And so I thought I'd open with it because I'm a huge fan of The Division. Just not of The Division 2. Although I still, one day, will go back and finish the story. Still a great game. Surprised we didn't get nothing, having already owned it. Yeah, they're just doing nothing. You've been up since 3:30. Oh well, 3 a.m. I got to bed about 4. Nvidia and Windows are not. Was it 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock? I can't remember. But Nvidia and Windows are just not working together. Well, more like Nvidia, Adobe, and Windows. Because the last 4 or 5 Nvidia drivers don't work with Adobe. So it's becoming the bane of my existence now, converting anything, encoding anything, making videos. I'm trying to learn DaVinci, but DaVinci is so weird. I do not like it. I do not like it, but I'm going to have to learn it because Adobe's a piece of shit and they won't fix the hardware encoding. It doesn't work with NVIDIA graphics cards. It's basically locked to software only because it's not recognizing the graphics cards. So I'm up until like crazy hours waiting for encodes to happen or just leaving my PC on overnight. Zimbabwe had some brilliant named players in AFCON. Marvelous Nakamba, Knowledge, God Knows Morwira, Teenage Hadabe, Prince Dube, and Elvis Chipezizi. Those names rival some NFL. With the exception of a podcast that I watched, decide to mention the latest Xbox hit piece. It is what it is. Sincere, it is what it is. His vest plus. They're not beating General Booty, Dude Person, Mobility. I like mobility. General Booty is good as well. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. They are all real players. They were waiting for their time to shine, man, for this very moment. Even if they claim it doesn't mean what it says. Yeah. Game Pass is getting a bunch of new games. Well, I say new, but it's getting some games coming over to it. Pirates Yakuza in Hawaii is landing. NFL. Some of you are going to cheer that Paw Patrol is back or is coming down. As an Ultimate only game, there's Relooted, whatever that is. It's on all platforms for the Ultimate tier. As well as, Star Sand Island. My kid is going to be very happy with that. He's been looking forward to this quite a bit when he saw the trailer, so that's good. Entropy Effect is coming to Ultimate tier. Roadside Research game preview. And High on Life. Along with Avatar. Frontiers Pandora. Premium is getting Kingdom Come Deliverance and Avowed. Oh, that's cool, Paul. That is pretty awesome to hear. What's it about? Hey, Grey Fox. How's it going, buddy? I'm playing Pirate Yakuza through Game Pass. Like all Yakuza games, it's epic. Hey, man. Yakuza is the spiritual successor of, you know what I'm going to say, right? Shenmue. I don't know what it was. I could never really get into the Yakuza games as much as I wanted to. I'm probably going to have to give them another try if and when I get time. Whoa, what happened there? Silence was almost deafening. It was always destined for Game Pass. John the devs have a good relationship with Xbox, Microsoft. Oh, you mean Pirate Yakuza? Yeah, Sega's got a good relationship with them. Unless you're talking about Paw Patrol, then I do have questions. Big questions. Real questions. Start with Zero, Director's Cut. See, I've been talking... When I talk to people, they say play it in the order of release. Because then it will make more contextual sense. And the mystery you have playing it in the order of release will make... You'll appreciate it more when you go back to Zero. But then some people say... Play 0, 1, 2, and so forth. Play it in the order. So I'm not really sure. Isn't High on Life developed by the studio that was once owned by Microsoft? Think I'm gonna play Fable 1, 2, and 3? You can't. Can you even play it? You can play them on Xbox, right? They're not available on PC. People are crying now because they want Fable 1, 2, and 3 on PC, and they're not there. So they're like, "Oh, I want to play it on my PC." And now they're saying, "I thought Xbox was about play your games anywhere." Wait, what's wrong with Paw Patrol? Absolutely nothing. Steve has already, you know, he 1,000 gold pointed it and platinumed it at the same time. He even got max achievements on Steam. My guy's a demon. He's now doing it on Epic Games. I don't even think Epic Games has achievements, but he just wants to complete it though. Yeah, Susanna, you have young kids. It's way too good for me. But yeah, there's some decent games here. Star Sand Island is probably going to be the one that my kid loves the most. We all remember that one. And yeah, High on Life 2 coming to Ultimate. That's going to be cool. Avowed finally going premium. Kind of weird. I thought Avowed would have been on there a little earlier, to be fair. Come on, daughter, watch it. What? Dude. I don't even know how to respond to that. My problem with the Yakuza games, at least the ones that I played, was that the cutscenes are so long that it's annoying. I'm talking Sony movie game long. Ah, that's not so bad. I don't mind them. As long as they're good, contextual, and push the story. How old is the Avowed? Over a year now. It's 6 months to a year, yeah. It released in February, so it's about time, yeah. Well, didn't Avowed release the first week in February last year? So it's just making it inside that window. I want to play a game, not spend more time watching it than playing it. I know what you mean, man. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing. Alright. So, according to Skyrim's lead designer, says Starfield would be talked about like the second coming if it was made by a new studio. Bethesda's in a bad position of having expectations being so high they cannot be met. What do people think about that? Starfield would be talked about like the second coming if it was made by a new studio. Are they actually giving it away? I did see something along those lines. Alone in the dark. The dark. Let's have a look. Alone in the dark. Let's have a look. Are you sure? Let's see. Alone in the Dark 2. Huh. Interesting. How many versions of Alone in the Dark can you claim? It is asking to link the executable though. So are you sure? I'm not quite sure. It doesn't look like it's... Yeah, it's asking to link the executable. I don't think you can... I don't think it's available. I think it's BS. What kit are you talking about? Well, Star Citizen is made by other studio, and it isn't the next coming. Have you played Star Citizen, Raichi? That shit is really impressive. Have you played it? That is really impressive. Star Citizen is actually really, really, really impressive. When you see the space battles in that game, and when you've got... I've seen like clans dishing it out. It's mental. You've got ground troops, air troops, the whole works. It's really impressive when it's actually working. What am I trying? Apparently, Alone in the Dark on GOG is supposed to be free. So I was just having a quick look to see if that was the case. But when I tried to claim it, it says, "You shall not pass." And it's asking for the executable, which obviously you don't have. I've tried the 2008 and 1992 version. It just wants me to link an executable. So unless I'm missing something... So yeah, have a look, Steve, and let me know. Because defo isn't working for me. On the website, I'm using the GOG app. Maybe that's why. Let's go to store. Let's have a look. They do have a lot of sales. I'm surprised people don't use GOG more often, you know? Because the fact is, they give you the executable. You own the game. I mean, there is no Alone in the Dark for free on their website either. It is $13.99. And Alone in the Dark 1, 2, 3 Trilogy is $4.79. You just claimed it? Send me a link, Gorsty. Oh, I see. It's $4.49, but you have to click on it, and then it says go to giveaway and then add to library. Okay, that's how you do it. I will show you all just so you know. Okay, So, this is how it works. I'm going to share it. You come to this page over here. You see this over here after you've searched for it. Alone in the Dark 1, 2, and 3. You click on it. I know it says £4.79, but completely ignore that. We're going to go once, going twice. Sold to that gentleman over there. You click on the giveaway right there. Once it goes down, you get a little bit section here that says redeem. You redeem it, and that's it. Going twice, going 3 times. Sold to Chaos Prime over there. It's done. I just showed it on thing, Steve. For those interested, here is the link. It actually says it on their main screen. Let's see. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. This is not good. I'm not seeing it on the main screen. Oh, there it is. I now see it. It is halfway down. Well, about 25% down. It is there. He was telling the truth. I never had any doubt in my mind that he would not be telling the truth. Wait. What's going on in chat? Panzer Dragoon Saga is being remade for PC? Really? Now that would be amazing. Who's remaking it? If it's just for PC, it has to be like an independent project, right? It looks like it's the old versions of the Alone in the Dark, the originals. I don't know if the new Alone in the Dark is any good. If Panzer Dragoon Saga is being remade, I will be so happy. You know what? I'm gonna have to look that up now. Panzer Dragoon Saga remake. It seems you're correct. That's actually cool. A native PC port of Panzer Dragoon Saga is in early development. Sega's epic JRPG is already semi-playable on Windows PC. When you ask RPG fans what game they'd love to see come to modern-day platforms, many of them are going to give Panzer Dragoon Saga as their reply. It's a great game. It was on the Sega Saturn, released exclusively on the Saturn back in 1998. I actually bought one of the only copies in the UK for this. I had to bunk school and go down to Tottenham Court Road just to find it. They only had like 3 copies in, and I made sure they reserved me one. This sprawling epic is considered one of the best examples of the genre, but because Sega no longer has access to the original source code, it has never been remastered or republished. Video game esoterica has unearthed what is perhaps the next best thing. However, in the form of a recompilation project which, if finished, could see the game ported natively to PC alongside a host of visual improvements. This could be cool. A developer by the name of Yazor has created a recompilation project that is currently semi-playable up until the Arachnoth battle. Interesting. The last update was 6 months ago, so it's not known if the project is still in active development, but it's open source. Nature means that others can chip in and contribute if they wish. Well, we'll probably see this finished in about 50 years, but hey, at least someone in 50 years' time will probably really enjoy that. What the hell are you talking about, Bruno Ski? Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Play Anywhere once that does happen, because I've been asking that question for a while. But that's like 5 years away, so awesome stuff, Steve. That's like 5 years away, right? So Play Anywhere is going to be around for another 5 years at least. So no point in even dismissing it right now. Steve's playing Final Fantasy IV right now. So, we had a new Bloomberg interview with Obsidian Entertainment, and this is actually quite big because there's a lot of information here. Grounded 2 was a big hit. Whether that means financially or just the number of players or both, not sure. But Grounded 2 was a big hit, and it is a very good game. Except for the building part. That sucks. I don't like it. I despise it. But everything else in there was kind of cool. Even the part where I was running away from spiders. It was all great. I actually had a good time. I just don't like the building part. It's boring and I don't like it. Avowed and The Outer Worlds 2, despite many things, failed to meet sales expectations, and it's not really surprising. There was no fanfare for these games, there was no advertising, there was really nothing by Microsoft to really push these games. I know they put it onto their YouTube channel and PlayStation put it on there, but there was no real push. And to me, Outer Worlds 2 just, I don't know, it didn't interest me at all. Both were in development for over 6 years, which is crazy. Now, Josh Sawyer said it's not good to release 3 games in the same year. It's the result of things going wrong, which means you're basically crunching and rushing everything. And some of that you could see in Avowed, where they were rushing to get things out. Maybe if they didn't release Avowed when they did and just worked on Outer Worlds 2 and left Avowed this year, maybe things would have been a lot more polished. You know, things that people complained about would have been more better received. Who knows? But when you're a small studio of about less than 300 people, that's always going to be a thing. Outer Worlds 2 was available on PlayStation Day 1. No one bought it. It's got nothing to do with Game Pass. Spacing those releases helps the company manage its resources and not burn everyone out. Like I was saying, you know, it's gonna thing. 280 employees. But the big thing is, I'm guessing the Outer Worlds 2 did really bad, because right now there are no plans for a third Outer Worlds game. But they want to keep making games in the Avowed and Pillars of Eternity, I think that is, universe. Which is really interesting. So I'm guessing Avowed did better than Pillars of Eternity. I don't think it would have sold anyway. I just don't feel like people had the interest. It just didn't look interesting. I agree, Banisher. Hey man, if you're cold, put the heating on, man. What's that, Steve? What game is that? Outer Worlds? Yeah, Avowed had a very Marmite style of Hogwarts, right? Marmite Avowed definitely had like a Marmite thing going towards it. But then, you know, it came out in that era where all the characters were immediately being uglified. There was the whole sweet baby ink, interjection, so people were avoiding it through that and not buying it. So, you know, Avowed had a lot of things going against it. And then to make matters worse with Avowed, the art director came out and decided to make some really, really racist remarks against white people, despite the fact that he was white himself. And Microsoft decided to sweep it under the rug and do nothing about it and still keep him employed. Yeah, Avowed had everything going against it. Everything. I need a break from reality. Go have a chat with your missus, mate. You'll... Go have a chat with the missus. Tell her you want to get that 250k Macallan. You'll want to jump into Fantasyland. What? That's a good piece of advice I gave you. There's nothing wrong with that advice I gave you. That advice has to be worth something, right? What will sell well on PS5? Avowed? It won't. But yeah, the Outer Worlds just didn't click. It didn't click with anyone. I saw it and I saw the videos that they were posting and the dev directs that they were posting. It just looked boring to me. So, yeah, that's interesting. What I found interesting was this, though. Avowed was originally pitched as a multiplayer game, but the idea was scrapped 2 years in. It was supposed to be a crossover between Skyrim and Destiny. Man, that would have been something. If they could have pulled that off, a crossover between Skyrim and Destiny, Microsoft would have had an absolute winner on their hands. That's crazy. And that's what it was originally aiming for before they changed it 2 years in. Nah, I don't care about DCG enough. I think it's probably the latter, Ghosty. Yeah, so that could have been really interesting. Microsoft has enacted and this is what, Obsidian is saying, right? Microsoft has enacted a 30% profit target. Microsoft has actually denied this, and it turns out that Microsoft, I guess, were lying when they denied it, because there is a 30% profit margin that is now in effect in studios, instead of the usual 12 to 15% that is within the games industry. That 30%, now confirmed by Microsoft, a studio within the Microsoft organization, is 30%. Target for many Xbox studios, which has led them putting games on PlayStation. So the plan wasn't to put games on PlayStation initially, because they probably were hitting that 10 to 12%, but because they now wanted 30%, the studios are now forced to put the games on PlayStation to try and hit that 30% profit margin. Interesting. Well, I actually posted a tweet about that, Steve, right? Because, my tweet was focusing on live service and gachas, but when you're looking at it, especially in the live service, kind of area, MMOs, gacha, Destiny-esque, right? How many can you play? Like, I've put a lot of time into Genshin Impact. I've put a lot of time into Wuthering Waves, Tower of Fantasy. I'm not dropping those games, right? I've put a lot of time into them. I'm kind of bored with Tower of Fantasy at the moment, so I'm doing the absolute bare minimum, but I'm just trickling it away, or my kid is just doing my dailies and moving on. But then I've got games like, you know, The Division, which every now and then I jump on and do stuff. Not much. But how often is it that you are going to drop a game that you have spent so many years in to move to another game to start fresh? Right? And that's the point here. Like, I was playing Final Fantasy 11 for what, 7 years, give or take. The only reason I stopped playing Final Fantasy 11 is because my whole link shell basically stopped playing. My account got hacked while I was playing, and I was sent to another world. And basically, by the time I came back, which was I think 6 months later, because that's how long it took to world transfer back in the day. It was either 3 months or 6 months. Everything went to shit. Apparently, after my account got hacked, all hell broke loose on our server and our link shell, and the whole like 90% of the people disbanded and went their own way, and a lot of them stopped playing. You know, and so that was like a perfect point for me to move over to Final Fantasy 14. But if you tell me now to start a new MMO, it's really hard to start a fresh MMO when I've got all that time invested in this one and it's still going and I still enjoy it. And anyone that says you can play 3 MMOs on the go is lying to you. They're crazy. That's not possible. So if you're spending all your time playing Destiny, you're not going to be playing The Division. If you spend all your time playing Warframe, you're not going to jump into Destiny. You're just not going. You can't devote the time that these games need, and they need a lot of time. So there's not a lot of room there, and with the gaming space not growing, people are kind of stuck. I need to go, everybody. We're having a meeting over pizza. We have a great... Hey, take it easy, Paul. Thanks so much for stopping by, my dude. And keep me updated on that project. I'm still interested. But do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's getting harder and harder for people to find games. And now that you've got like Highguard coming in, and you've got other companies making these live service games, thinking that they're going to steal the player base from the likes of Overwatch, from the likes of Marvel Rivals and such, it's not going to happen. You know, people that are playing Valorant are going to continue playing Valorant. They might switch over to Highguard now for like 5 minutes, but they're going to go back to Valorant. They're going to go back to Marvel Rivals. These games, you know, it's really hard now to break into certain molds, certain markets. How can they deem Avowed as a flop and it hasn't released on PS5 yet? Are they going by Xbox and PC? I'm guessing the wish list as well, and it's just not meeting expectation, yeah. There's a justification for the work, whatever they're calling it, their form of it. It didn't meet the targets they required, yeah. I guess everything on PS5 will be a hit like Forza Horizon. I guess not everything on PS5. Horizon 5 was It'll be interesting to see how Horizon 6 does. Let's just say that. It could have been like a one-hit wonder. But let's, you know, when you're looking at all the games that Microsoft has released on there, whether it's Hi-Fi Rush, which didn't do well, Pentiment didn't do well, Sea of Thieves did well. That's the one that basically catapulted everything. There was another game that they released as part of the 4. I can't remember what it was. But that didn't do well. Forza Horizon did well. But most of the games just haven't done well. I can't remember what the full form was, though. No, I said Pentiment. Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves. There was one more. But I mean, when you're looking at PlayStation, they don't buy games either. You know, if you look at the sales of Helldivers 2, if you're Grounded, that was it. That didn't sell well on PlayStation either. If you look at the sales of Helldivers 2, which we have, based on the number of consoles that Sony has sold compared to the measly 22, 25 million that people keep saying, you know, this is what the narrative is at the moment. In theory, based on console market share, there were more Xbox people that bought in percentage towards the console market share Helldivers 2 than there was PlayStation. It's kind of crazy. And I ain't seen one thing for Grounded on any PlayStation channel, man. That obviously doesn't mean much, but there's been no chatter about it at all. It's because of these no-life games, right? There are people that just buy Call of Duty and just play that for a whole year. And then buy the next Call of Duty. Or they might buy like Call of Duty and Battlefield and just switch between them. And they don't need anything else. I remember I went for like the best part of a year. I mean, when I was playing Destiny, that was the only game I played. Like literally, there was a year where that was the only game I played. I would sign in, do everything every day. When I was playing Final Fantasy XI, that was the only game I played for years. I didn't need anything else. That game kept me going for years. So it's not unheard of for people to be doing that sort of thing. But then you've got games like FIFA, and you've got Madden, and you've got NFL, and all of these, and NHL, and whatever. People are, you know, with these build your teams and all of that stuff. These are games that people just sit down and play forever. People often laugh at these EA sports games or whatever, these Ultimate Fighting, you know, I forgot what they're called. It's not like a Marvel fighting game. It's actually like a cage fight thing. I forgot what it's called now. But, you know, when I saw like the games my late uncle had on his PlayStation at the time, none of the games that people that I know would ever buy, but they were like mostly like EA games and Call of Duty, and that's it. UFC, that's the one. And they were just, you know, his kids were there playing it, and they were loving the UFC. It's an absolute crap game, by the way, but they were loving it. And they just sat there for like an hour just having fun. Yeah, hun? What's this? Chicken pizza. Oh, thank you. A late snack. I am not going to say no to some dumplings. Sorry, Taz. Right, so the average person buys like 1 or 2 games a year. Look, I have skill. I'm playing through Resident Evil 4 at the moment, and everyone can see my skill and accuracy, okay? There is no denying my skill. You should gift that to Steve. Did I say Resident Evil 4? Silent Hill 4. I keep mixing them up. Hey, what do you... What do you mean? You've all seen my amazing skills on Silent Hill 4. I mean, it's not my fault Eileen decides to go one-on-one with a gun-totting weirdo. I mean, Grounded 2 was definitely cheaper to make. So yeah, scope matters here, but it still met expectations, right? We should hopefully finish Silent Hill 4 on Wednesday. What do you mean I miss a bomb 2 feet away? Come on, my skills are amazing. Look, Gorsty, Leaf, tell them how good my skills are in Resident Evil. I keep saying Resident Evil. Silent Hill 4. You can buy it on PC, right? Early access. He's had a lot of schoolwork. What do you mean gaslight? Come on. You guys are making it sound like I'm totally crap at video games. I have skills. They are legit. Hey, look, right? We don't talk about that. We do not talk about that. Why so serious? Absolutely not. Is TCL manufacturing the PlayStation? That would actually be funny if they were. Is there a PS6? At the moment, I think the PS6 is just being talked about. Who knows if they're actually going to ever... By 2030, they may even decide against it. At the moment, there are some specs there, but those specs are now... If they are delaying it, well, pushing it all the way to 2030, then the PS6 definitely is... those specs aren't even going to be real, right? Will different company make it? I'm confused about Sony at this point. Well, we know that their TVs are now owned by TCL. But can you imagine TCL making their console? That would be hilariously funny. Hey, look. I don't always do that. I did it right. I mean, no matter how you look at it, 25 million is still a lot. And you know, I'd say maybe 10 million of that was Game Pass. The other was definitely people buying it. Thank you for the $5 PS5 blows. I appreciate it. Man, you guys have no faith in my great skills. See? Why so serious? Even he's saying you don't talk about that. CDI. Well, I mean, there's talks about the PSSR2, right? That's going to be really interesting because I think the PS6, if it does land anytime soon, is going to be highly dependent on PSSR2. If PSSR2 delivers what it says to deliver, then yeah, you're not going to see a PS6 until quite late on. I do think you'll see the handheld in 2 years, though. I'm not quite sure if it's too early for next gen. You summed up my skills perfectly above. I don't see what you said above. I'm scrolling and don't see it. So what you said, Gorsty, was that my skills are so amazing that God himself was impressed and bestowed greatness upon me. Alright, you guys are just consistently feeding me, okay. We all saw it happen live. You did! I did excellent skills, dodging and weaving and ninja diving and all of this shit. I did moves that the game didn't even know you could do. So let's be real here. Double the show. You would actually need skills for us to come on. Look above the super chat. Imagine prime Steven Gerrard if he was born with 2 left feet, was blind, and suffered with vertigo. You get the idea. So what you're saying is, even with all those handicaps, he was still amazing. Ghosty, come on, man. Come on. That's what I'm talking about. That is high praise coming from someone who shouldn't be praising, a Man United fan like that. Just like this video. Hey, I've just been given some dumplings, some sushi. I ain't complaining. But yeah, you guys all see my amazing skills. You just want to say I'm bad for the sake of, for content, right? But getting back to this, that 30% margin is crazy. That Microsoft is expecting. No, Amy Hood and Satya Nadella are clearly treating Microsoft as a third-party studio now. And the funny thing is, third-party companies aren't even doing that. Third-party studios are not actually hitting 30%. And they're expecting Microsoft to hit it? You can give it away, Gorsty. I'll send you a PO box. Uh, 100% infinite. But I also think this is coming from the investors. Steve, you're 100% correct. It is literally greed, mega corpo, but people don't understand that. Well, there's two ways of looking at this, right? I agree with what you're saying, Steve. It's corpo, and all corpo cares about is profits. Like, I saw some guy cheering on Nintendo sold 17 million consoles and this, and they're not even a shareholder. Like, why do you care? If you're not a shareholder, why do you care if they've sold 10 million consoles, 20 million consoles, or 50 million consoles? How does that make any sense? Like, I don't understand the logic in that. Even when they're cheering about Xbox selling this or PlayStation selling that, if you're not a shareholder, why do you care? Navy Shadow, that's different to what this is. That 30% that they're taking is completely different to this. Sales mean more support, and Nintendo will continue to make more stuff for it. Nintendo will make stuff for the Switch regardless. The Wii U had games. It didn't have third-party games, but it had first-party games. It had a Mario, it had a Zelda, and it had a Metroid, right? Sony will never tell you their sell-through numbers. Additionally, even the sell-through numbers is incorrect, right? Because there are people that have got 2 or 3 Xboxes in their house and only one profile. They just have an Xbox in each room. There are people that have multiple PlayStations in their house with the same profile. It's the same person. The number of consoles is very misleading to how many accounts are actually active. And Sony knows that number. Microsoft knows that number. They're just not telling you that number. They're choosing to tell you a number that is bigger because it appears better for the investors. That's it. What you want to know... Look, let me give you an example, right? A person, someone I know, bought the digital PS5. The original digital. Because the one with the drive didn't exist, was sold out. Then the drive one became available. So they kept the digital one because it was rare and bought the disc version. Then the Slim came out. And so they sold the fat version and bought the Slim. And then the Pro came out. So they sold the Slim and bought the Pro. That one person equates to 4 consoles being sold. Now, I'm not saying everyone is going through that process, but you see the point I'm making. The number of consoles sold is not equating to the number of consumers that are actually available on your platform. And a lot of people just don't understand this. Our home has 3 Xboxes, 2 Series X's, 1 Series S, 2 PS5s, 2 Switch 2s, and 2 gaming PCs. I mean, I've got a Series X and S. I've got a fat PS5 and a Pro. I've got a Switch 1 and a Switch 2, only one each because that's more than enough for this household. But in terms of PCs, there is 3 PCs in this household right now. 4 PCs in this household. Everyone has their own PC. And so, you know, it doesn't reflect the number of users. And people just don't see that. Metroid didn't exist on the Wii U at all, and Breath of the Wild was a 2017 game. You had one Mario platformer, which was a remix of a 3DS game. But it had a Mario game. And then the 2D Mario, and then it didn't have Animal Crossing. But it still had games. I have like 50% of how many games that they sell those games exactly. And so what that does, in fact, is actually dilute the data, right? So these people are basically working out how many games are bought as an attach rate per user. And so that data is now measured on the 90 million. I think it's like nearly 90 million shipped for PlayStation. But that data is now shipped based on that 90 million, when in fact it could be somewhere in the region of about 60 million. And then that number of attach rate would actually increase, making it look better for investors. But that 90 million is way more impressive. Hey Talos, how's it going? Those are the numbers that I'm interested in. Those are the numbers that I would like to see, personally. To see where these companies really are at. But we don't see those numbers, and you will never see those numbers. I'd say it's closer to 4 games per year, per person. I mean, I'm definitely not part of that algorithm. I buy way more than that. But I've also now got into the habit where I'm just looking for sales. You know, it's very rare that I will go and buy a game full price now. I look for sales unless it's a game I absolutely want to play right now, here and now. I just don't. Like, I've recently gotten into, you know those bullet hell 2D shoot 'em ups? I've recently gotten into those, and Xbox was doing a really good deal recently where you buy one and get 2 free. You pay for the most expensive one. And I just bought 3 bullet hell games. You know, it was a good deal. I bought them and I'm enjoying them. And now I've seen another one that they've decided to recommend me, because now they've got me where they want me. So I'm going to buy that one as well for, I think it's like £12. But I played Ikaruga on the Saturn. I've got it on Xbox Arcade as well. Now, the one that you really want to play, Leaf, is Radiant Silvergun. That is amazing. Or one on the PlayStation called Dudon Patch. Dudon Patch Daijobu is really, really hard, but then you've got the Black Label Edition. Just check a YouTube video for the Black Label Edition. That is insane. I don't know how... I've seen people do it without dying. I don't know how they can do it. I'm calling hacks. I don't refuse to buy a game for $70. I just... The game has to be something that I really want. Like, they announced a Nier Automata 2. Mate, I don't care if that game is $100. I'm buying it. End of story. Like, they can put that for $100 and I'm gonna buy it. It's that simple. Like, it has to be a game that I really, really want for me to spend $70 on it. They make an Alan Wake free. I don't care the price. I'll buy it day one. I'm playing that day one. Hey, look. I'm not a corpo shill. I'm a franchise shill. You don't know 2B. There are some things that, you know, can't be said or shown here. And 2B is definitely one of them. Hey, look at Susano. If Monster Hunter Stories 3 comes out and it's like £80, $80, you think Susano isn't going to buy that? He buying that day one. $90, he buying that day one. He likes the scales on those monsters. He likes the way it feels. You know, when he's grabbing Rathalos's tail and gripping it with both his hands and sliding it down his tail. Yeah, he loving that. Right, Susano? Nier probably won't be using 2B or similar story. It would be like a new... Well, it depends. I mean, the first one was called Nier Replicant, which was based like 1,000 years before, right? Something like that. Something silly like that. The second one, Automata, didn't kind of finish. Well, it did, but they left it open for a sequel if you completed the game 3 times and got the actual true ending. But then again, I'm just a huge Yoko Taro fan. I think that guy is absolutely mental in how he makes his games. And it's never a dull moment with him. Outer Worlds 3 should never be made. Obsidian must make games that have much more violent and varied gameplay. I actually think what Microsoft needs to do is stop with these AA games. And what they need, like I said in my previous video, they need a game that stands out. There's no point in releasing 50 games and them all being mid. They need to start releasing games that are memorable, that are going to sell. Mid only sells mid. I hated the case building with the notes and stuff in Alan Wake 2. I quit playing. Like, it's Alan Wake, I'm gonna play it, man. It may have not been the most exciting thing, but I'm going to play it. I see, look. Susano and Rathalos, a match made in heaven. I told you, man, wedding bells are happening. I can't say anything. There's a limit on price for me with Gears. If it's 100, 1,000, I can't say anything. There isn't a limit for price for me. I'd still buy it and probably double dip. You see, there are certain games, like I'm saying, where it's no longer a factor of money. You need it day one. And I totally get that. But then there are other games that I want to play that I don't mind waiting for because I've got so much things to play. Look, I wanted to play, what is it? What's that Warhammer game that's just gone onto Game Pass? I can't remember the name. But it's just recently gone onto Game Pass. Space Marine 2? I think it's Space Marine 2. I've been wanting to play Space Marine 2 for a while. But I've just had so many other games that I'm playing through right now. It's never been on my agenda to buy it. So I've been waiting for a sale. And it's just gone on Game Pass, so now I'm just going to play it through Game Pass. You know, you got to be smart with your money. Honestly, Leaf, I think JRPGs, as much as a niche community wants them on Xbox, we don't really see them doing well. I know Expedition 33 was a standout hit, but you always get one-hit wonders. And the majority of JRPGs just don't do well on Xbox. Xbox, at the end of the day, is a bro console. It's why Helldivers 2 did so well. Many Xbox fans overhype Obsidian. It's not so much they're overhyping Obsidian, right? What they're doing is looking at, hey, Fallout New Vegas was amazing 55 years ago. So Obsidian has this name as delivering one of the best Fallout experiences. And then people are like, hey, Now their grandchildren are actually making the games. It's not the same people, but the Obsidian name still continues. And so people are expecting that Obsidian quality from 55 years ago with New Vegas to be here. And I think, that happens a lot in gaming where people look at a studio and say, oh, they made this and they made that. Look at Casey Hudson. He's making the new Star Wars game. There's no guarantee that game is going to be good, but people are going crazy because Casey Hudson's on the case. But the reality is Casey Hudson also fucked, literally, Anthem. He's the reason Anthem turned out to be absolute crap. He's one of the big reasons. If you watch that 4-hour video by Mark Dara, he was literally an integral part that messed Anthem up. So, this notion of ex-developers of Call of Duty, Apex Legends, and all, none of that matters. What matters is the game good? And if the game is good, great. If the game is bad, your reputation from the previous games don't matter. Unless you're Yoko Taro. He hasn't failed me yet. There are good games, but having them put out 3 games a year is asking too much. Yeah, 100%. I think that was their big problem. And that's what Josh Sawyer said, right? It's not good to release 3 games in the same year. It's the results of things going wrong. Spacing those releases helps the company manage its resources and not burn everyone out. And you can see in Avowed where everything was... There were so many areas where it was rushed. Like I've watched a number of videos and certain things where they could have done it to implement could have actually been in the game. And it will be in the game in the anniversary edition that's now coming out on PlayStation, and Xbox is getting the update the same day. That version is going to have a lot of these quality of life features that were missing. And it's going to be there. They needed that extra year. So, releasing all 3 in 1 year, credit to them for getting it out. But what's the point if they're not ready? But, and some of you aren't going to like this, and I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. This is the gift and the curse of Game Pass. Because they need games to drop periodically throughout the year to maintain people staying subscribed. And if you remember what I said about Forza Motorsport and about Redfall, especially about Forza Motorsport, that game was nowhere near ready for release, but they needed to fill the gap. And that game dropped incomplete. Now, had that had another 6 months to a year in development, it probably wouldn't have released in the state it did. But they had to rush it. And that's the problem with subscription services, right? They need to fill the gaps. Why they outsourced Grounded 2 to IDOS, and it's showing it doesn't have that Obsidian charm. Yeah. And games suffer. It's really that simple. Games will suffer for it. But when you've got a subscription service, you need to drop games periodically or people unsubscribe. And, I'll be real with you, yeah? I'm going to be 100% real with you. Paw Patrol, Relooted, roadside research isn't going to keep me entertained on the ultimate tier. And if you're the person that basically subscribes from month to month, you're just going to drop. You're dropping. You may have already played Pirates, which is probably the main game in this one because they've been out for so long. Right? So you're just going to drop. But they need games to keep it going. And that's just how it is. There's no 2 ways about this. And man, I've already... Look, we need to, catch up after, because you need to tell me how to get those achievements. You've already maxed achievemented it, haven't you? You know, a year and a half ago, I was absolutely crucified when I was talking about Forza Motorsport. Or was it 2 years ago? And I said what I said. You know, in that video, I was absolutely crucified. And I even did a stream to talk about it because you guys, well, not you guys in particular, but at the time, people got really upset with what I said. But it's a fact. When you've got a subscription service, you need to keep content flowing. And unfortunately, Obsidian got hit by that. Did your comment get deleted? I'm not seeing everything because I'm kind of looking at the camera as well, talking. So if I miss something, just re-ask again. But I didn't delete anything, and I don't think anyone deleted it. And I'm not seeing anything deleted by mods either, so not sure. I'm looking at the YouTube thing, and I'm not seeing anything at all being deleted. There's nothing deleted at all. What I will do is, can I pop this out? Because this does make my life easier, because I can see when people are turning around and... I said Paw Patrol, let's go. New game stream? Oh, hell no. Yeah, no. But keep in mind, there's subs that get you games you keep without the subs. Yeah. To get 4 games a month with their, at one point, I have about 50 games for the PS5 from their sub, but can't play them given I don't have a PS5. I mean, Epic Games still gives games away, right? Yeah, I'm subscribed to Humble Bundle as well myself. What else have we got here? So the 30% has basically forced them to put games on PlayStation to try and hit that 30% because they're not doing it with PC and Xbox alone. And Obsidian's plan for the next few years is to continue working on projects, both big and small, in addition to new content for Grounded 2 and the Outer Worlds 2. So there's still more content coming for the Outer Worlds 2 and Grounded 2. Obviously, with Grounded 2, they still need to hit that 1.0 and actually have the release. But yeah, you're still going to get DLC, but yeah, Outer Worlds 3 is not happening. Outer Worlds 3 is basically game over. But you are going to get games in the Avowed and Pillars of Eternity universe. They are going to keep making those games because I guess they enjoy the Pillars of Eternity. It is Pillars of Eternity, right? I'm not just thinking this. I'm not just getting this wrong. Well, Harry, it depends. Because they probably were hitting that 12% margin that most studios go for, right? If you're looking at Capcom, Konami, Square Enix, when they put their games on sale, there's usually a 12% margin that they want to hit. That's the average for the games industry. Some go as high as 15%, 16%. But Microsoft is, I think, the only one that wants to hit 30%. And, you know, when you're talking about companies that release their games multi-platform, happy with a 12% margin, Microsoft wants not just double, but like 2.5 times that amount. So this is just pure greed. This isn't like because of the games being on Game Pass, because they probably would have hit their margins. This is just the corpos being greedy, and as a business, they're there to make money. That's it. And that's the other thing I was saying, Harry. They need to get a game that's like a standout hit. Like one that's going to hit like that 95 Metacritic that everyone is going to love and want to play. Right now, it's easier to hit and aim for that 80% as a studio and have your targets based around that than it is to aim for a 90% because the risks are just way higher. 99? Did you know there's 99 new game plus in... Really? I get Path and Pillars mixed up, but I think you're saying the right one. I mean, Fable has a lot riding on it right now. A lot. It has a lot. This game is basically going to be seen as, you know, the major AAA title for this year. Halo is another AAA title, but I don't know how people even see Halo anymore. Forza Horizon 6 is a AAA title. They've got 3 major, or Gears as well. They've got 4 AAA titles coming out this year. And it's going to be interesting to see how they do throughout the year. Because if they all flop, I think we are going to see a very, very, very different Xbox next year. It could be the best thing since Marmite was invented. Well, that's it. There's no hope in hell now. Can you hear this one? This one likes Marmite. It would still knock it because it's Xbox. Ah, I see what you're saying. It's already happened when the media deducted points because Xbox didn't. Oh, I remember that. They actually deducted points off Hi-Fi Rush. I think it was Kotaku. They turned around and wrote, but we can't give it a higher score because of the previous games that Microsoft has released not being up to par. So they wasn't even reviewing the Xbox game based on its own game. They looked at like games that had nothing to do with Hi-Fi Rush, and because they didn't do so well, they knocked points off Hi-Fi Rush for that. I remember that. Halo really doesn't have that hype, and it's the marketing. There's no buzz. There's no buzz for marketing anymore. Like I said, where I used to work, we used to have we used to do a lot of marketing for Microsoft, especially Xbox. We did a lot of their campaigns for video games, and when I saw what they were doing for Hellblade 2, and I did see it around, it was, I mean, all Microsoft wanted at the time was banners. The stuff that you have your ad block on for, that basically stops you seeing those banners. That's what they wanted us to do. And that was it. That's all they wanted for Hellblade 2. And you're not getting with banners, you're just not getting any return on interest on those. Because people use adblock. I mean, I expect Forza Horizon 6 to be a massive hit, especially being in Japan. But Halo is, Microsoft just abandoned Halo too much. I remember Phil saying, if we lose our way with Halo, we lose our way with Xbox. And in my opinion, he was right. he'll want to backtrack that statement, but deep down he knows it's true. Halo was Xbox. When you thought of Xbox, you don't think of Gears of War or Marcus Phoenix in a mankini or Dom, on a beach somewhere with Kate. You thought of Master Chief in that amazingly brilliant green suit. You thought of Slayer. I'm not building anything up. I'm just saying that in regards to the way Microsoft treats its games, they need to put more emphasis and talk about them more. They need to advertise them more. But what advertising works now, not really sure. The only ones that I see that are truly effective are the interactive ones, like you see in Japan, where you've got them like 3D scopic billboards, or you've got those grandiose advertisings that Sony do that actually get people's attention. Like Square Enix, when they were releasing Final Fantasy XIV on Xbox, they actually put down London an actual aetheryte crystal that you could go and take pictures with. You just need something big and bold, and they've just got no interest in doing that. Forza 6, I mean, it's just going to be Forza 5 in Japan, right? And people like Japan, so it's going to be good. I mean, they got caught because it was popular. They just bought it at the bad time, when it wasn't really working. You say that, Susano, right? But that was literally the next topic that I was going to be talking about. You see, great minds think alike. It's amazing what happens when two minds collide and bring out the best in humanity. Create a real race of locusts that attack the planet. Be great marketing for Gears. Yeah, that would. Can you imagine you just seeing the locusts running around the streets, and, pretend damaging stuff and attacking stuff? That would be awesome, man. You'd get so many people talking about it. Like, that's the sort of big, bold ideas that Microsoft needs. But Xbox and NetEase announced major Xbox PC partnership for China. UU Accelerator officially integrated into Xbox PC app. Now, what this UU Accelerator is a... it's basically a connection in China that basically allows for more reliable connections, better matchmaking, lower latency. It stops disconnecting, and it's something that is quite used a lot in China. And NetEase and Microsoft have now basically agreed on a partnership to integrate the accelerator into the PC app for Xbox, which will allow users in China to have a much more stable connection using the Xbox PC app. So whether it's for playing multiplayer games or whatever, the connection is more stable. This in turn will hopefully mean that more players can enjoy the Xbox PC app while they're gaming and play their multiplayer games through there. So they're trying to branch out into China and make it as easy as possible for the Chinese player base, because that's the next big real growth for consoles. In China right now, PC and mobile are absolutely massive. Consoles, not so much. So they're not really pushing the console side to China. I don't think they care enough about the console at all anymore. But they are really pushing the PC side, trying to get more players involved with the PC app. And if they can get, even 5% of the Chinese community actually involved and using the PC app, it'll be happy days for Microsoft. By integrating the service directly into the Xbox PC app, Microsoft is reducing the need for players to manually manage third-party tools to stabilize their connection. As far as I'm aware, this marks the first time a major platform holder has offered this type of network acceleration as a built-in feature at the app level. So this is something that no other company is offering. No one is growing in the West. Absolutely no one. Phone home straight to... What would Microsoft do if Sony makes the next Fortnite and keeps it off Xbox? Absolutely nothing, Harry. What they will turn around and do is say, hey, since you're keeping Fortnite off my Xbox, would you like Halo? That's not enough for you to keep Fortnite off? How about we give you Fable as well? What's that? We'll give you Blade 2. What's that? You want to keep more games off Xbox? That's a great idea. Here's more games for you. That's the bitterness in me speaking. Because I do feel Xbox gamers are being shafted 100%. And I will not sugarcoat that. I think Xbox gamers are being 100% shafted with this one-way traffic. You know, like a lot of people, I have access... Well, I'm not sure how many people in chat. I have access to all platforms, so it doesn't affect me, but I do feel bad for people that only have one platform, because they are. And, you know, this push for Microsoft to going to PC is probably the reason why they're doing it. Because they know Sony is just never going to cave in. They're never going to give way. You're fake. Even if they're exclusive, they're going to be on PC. So they're not going to be exclusive. They're not going to keep them off PC. Which still harms the console. So assuming, like, you know, let's say from after these games that are coming out this year, all the next ones are going to be console exclusive to Xbox. They would also need to make it 1 year exclusive to the console before it goes to PC or any other platform for any of that to work. The moment you get the PC involved, you can already see that they prioritize the PC version over the console version. You see that with Redfall. You saw that with Hellblade 2. You saw that with Starfield. And you saw that with other games. PC will hit 60 FPS, 80 FPS. You can buy a 12 grand graphics card and play at whatever FPS you want. 500 FPS. But on console, you're stuck at 30 until a year later. So if they truly want it to be that way, PC has to be off the table. And I don't see them doing that. %, Harry. Susanna clearly is a shareholder. True, when Xbox announced that games are coming to PC, all my friends said they will just get a PS5 and a PC. Xbox was supposed to give us 1440p 60 FPS and 1080p 120 on the Series S. That is up to. They never said all games are going to be that way. But yeah, because the hardware is old now. When it first launched, it was probably hitting those numbers, right? But now, the tech is old, right? The Series S is old, man. The Series S is old. In terms of hardware tech, it is like, what, 2010? Maybe even 2005? It's old. So, when it launched, it was already dated. But what the mistake that developers are doing is they're trying to make it graphically look so amazing on the Series S, and that hurts the resolution and the FPS. They just need to tone it down. Tone it down, optimize it better, and improve the frame rate. That's it. It's not hard. It's just lazy developing. Which is what I said. Right, Steve? Hey, look. When Magnus comes out, Microsoft Word will be exclusive. There you go. Huh? It's going to be console exclusive, huh? You can do those spreadsheets with the family. You can play Minesweep exclusive to the console. There you go. I'd say Solitaire, but I'm assuming that's already available. Okay, I'm just trolling. I think the Pro can give 8K now, right? But yeah, the PS5. I mean, I saw someone else saying that the PS5, the base one, can do 5K. Internally, it can render at 8K, but it can't actually output at 8K. The base PS5 could only output at 6K, I think. Don't be bashing Solitaire. It's where I bought. It's where I bought an etc. RTX 6000. Hey, since you bought the RTX 6000, what are you doing with the other graphics card? Why aren't you sending it over? You see? It's just sitting there wavering dust. You could have found a new home by now. A worthy home. No, I'm just shitting you. I don't know where the market is at on 8K TVs. I know they exist. I just don't think they're very... They're still very new. Smart Delivery is a joke. They were supposed to make a Series X version and a smaller Series S version. The games are all on the same... Nah, they're not the same file size. They are not the same file size, dude. Trust me. They are not the same file size. If it detects that your machine is a Series S, you get a smaller file size. I've actually tested this with my Series S and X with the same game. The game is smaller. The textures are smaller. So I've personally tested this. AI is... Jesse, he's right. AI is losing a lot of money. It is a sinking hole. And at the moment, you know, companies are scared because if you heard what Satya Nadella said, because now, you know, the governments are now asking questions, right? In the US, they've now raised a lot of eyebrows because AI was not supposed to lose jobs, but thousands of jobs, tens of thousands of jobs have been lost. And so now the governments are turning around, the US government saying, well, you know that we were covering you for all that electric usage that you're doing with AI? Yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. You need to start covering that yourself. Because this wasn't what we agreed. AI wasn't supposed to get all these people out of jobs. It was supposed to enrich jobs. But companies immediately saw the big bucks. But they're not actually making big bucks because it's a sinking hole. And that's why recently with the whole Microsoft situation, they lost 400 and something billion overnight because there's no real movement in AI. AI was supposed to, you know, help medical, technical engineering, space travel, all of this stuff, right? Scientific research, and it's not doing anything. that it's supposed to do. All it's doing is putting people in bikinis and making pandas dance for you and doing stupid shit on social media. That's where all of the efforts are going. And like Satya said, if we don't start making advancements with AI, Satya is scared that the funding for AI is going to, get cut because they're not making the progress they want. And investors have also said the return and based on the investment and the advancement is too slow. Sam Altman is now already ripping Microsoft off left, right, and center with his OpenAI, and they've even he now wants another 500 billion or whatever it is investment to keep OpenAI going. It's a sinking hole. There's no real money under there, and if it turns out, if it decides to pop this AI bubble, companies are going to disappear overnight because they're not going to be able to pay any of it back. They're going to go straight into liquidation. Genie Free is fine, but that's not replacing game devs anytime soon. Genie Free, I mean, we don't even know what the back-end code looks like for Genie Free. We've just seen it do something, and it's, when they rolled out 5G, that everything will be controlled via AI. Factory resetting my old ROG ally. He had a good run. May he rest in peace, Gorsty. So, Sam Altman, I think, is probably the biggest scam artist out of all of them, because that guy is just bleeding Microsoft dry, literally. And if they don't start making any meaningful advancement, that bubble is popping. And it's going to pop. Maybe not this year, but when it does pop, all of these companies that invested everything, a lot of them are just going to disappear overnight. So, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. What do you mean, Woodpit? Well, the idea... Okay, look at it this way, Woodpit, right? You've got, really clever people all around the world, right? Imagine being able to put all of that stuff into one database, and then all of that information being cross-referenced by AI. They can find stuff that individually they can't do. Maybe they could find a cure for cancer, right? The cure for HIV. But none of this is being targeted for the simple reason that if they found a cure for cancer or the cure for HIV or AIDS or anything that's serious in that manner, pharmaceutical companies will not be making any money. The pharmaceutical companies don't want them to find a cure. So that side of things have already gone out the window. Because if there's a cure, that means there's no reoccurring payments. And these pharmaceutical companies need you to basically stay ill and constantly be dependent on them as they increase the charges of your medical care to pay for those, to buy those things so they get richer. So they're not going to use AI for that. So then there's other scientific improvements that they can do, but that's not happening either. At the moment, AI is doing nothing. It's really not doing anything that's, groundbreaking, and it needs to, considering the amount of money that they are investing into this stuff. And that's why Satya is really scared right now, because he said we need to see actual improvements to society with AI. Otherwise, this whole thing is going to pop and it's going to go away. Like any of the diseases. Like, I remember there was this supercomputer that they built that was working on an equation that would normally take, it was a quantum computer, I think, an equation that would take about, what, 200 years for the computer to work out? And the quantum computer worked it out in, I think it was like 30 seconds or 15 seconds. And so that's the sort of technological advancement they want from AI. They want answers, they want solutions, they want things to move forward. But right now, as you said, people are using it to summarize a website, summarize their work, summarize their notes, you know, and stuff like this. And it's just not being used for what the amount of investment that is being made into AI. There isn't the return to society to make the investment worthwhile. Exactly what Steve said. Mad how they use that kind of computing power to predict the final Premier League table each season. There are users rate deployed, but that still requires experts to use. I think individual researchers would release a cure if they had one. Cancer is just... no, they wouldn't, Woodpit. Because it wouldn't be in the best interest of pharmaceuticals. If there was a cure, and I personally believe that there is, pharmaceutical companies would not release it because that would eat into their profits exponentially. Why make them pay for a cure when you can get 30 years of payments out of them? And that's what a corpo looks at. They don't care that you're suffering. They don't care that you're in pain. They don't care that you're going to leave loved ones behind. What they care about is the fact that you're a 30-year bank check. Right? You're a 30-year direct debit. And that's all they care about. Do you think a corpo is going to turn around and say, I'm going to throw away 30 years of direct debits or 50 years of direct debits for a one-off payment? No, they're not going to do that. As horrible as that sounds, that is the business world. That is the corpo world. That is the dark side of the corpo world. That's just how it works. You wouldn't need the treatment. You get the cure. I mean, insulin is a prime example, right? I know we're going completely off topic now, and I'm going to continue in a second. When insulin was created, it was sold for £1. The actual blueprint for insulin was sold for £1, and the creator said that no one person should basically hold the power to insulin because it is something that everyone needs. How much is insulin today? And how many people are dying from it every year through the lack of insulin because they can't have it? In the UK, we're lucky because it's part of our NHS system and it's covered by our NHS because that's how we do it. But how many people in the US die due to lack of insulin every year in the US? But they can't afford it. Whether it's because they need more of it or whatever. A lot. But the original blueprint was sold for £1. And it was sold for £1 so everyone could have it and it could be something that was given to people in need. But the corpos have made sure that they monetized it like crazy. It is Leaf, but not in the US. Yeah, right? So insulin was one... They sold the blueprint for $1, man. $1. So if you think... I mean, in terms of corpo greed, this goes back all the way back to time immemorial. That will never change. People who make money will always want more money. It's never enough. It's never enough. They just want more, and they keep wanting more. They could have enough money. They'll have enough money where they won't even know how to spend it. Right? And it won't be enough. They'll want more. And so, no, they won't. They don't want a cure. And AI right now is in a position where it has to start showing results because it is sinking a massive hole in all of these globally. They're losing hundreds of billions of dollars and pounds, and there's nothing to show for it outside of a dancing panda. Hey, look, just tell me I'm wrong. Outside of the boots, Steve, tell me I'm wrong. Hey, I seen those dancing pandas on the YouTube Shorts. There's a dancing panda. I saw 3 of them. Steve, you're an ass. So, moving on from this dreary discussion, and AI being the bane of all existence and a sinking hole into all profits of existence, and I do hope companies stop paying for the electric bills, because that's going to hit them really hard. But Crimson Desert is Xbox Play Anywhere title now, and yeah. For anyone that's interested in buying this amazing Pearl Abyss game, Crimson Desert, which is basically Black Desert, I'm assuming, with it being offline, with more features. It is Xbox Play Anywhere, so you can play this on your Xbox and your PC. Excuse me. Hey, Susanna, you don't have anything to apologize for, man. Speak your mind. You can send it to me on Discord. Crimson Desert wasn't a PS5 only game, no. People are saying Pragmata is 60 FPS in docked and handheld mode for Switch 2, which is crazy because it was announced for PS5 only originally. No, it was just on the showcase. Pragmata was multi-platform always. But when it comes to the showcases, oh god, I can't even open this. One sec, chat. Just need to open this orange juice. There we go. Sony will never acknowledge a game is available on another platform. In fact, Sony doesn't even allow Xbox Studios to properly appear in the games that go over to PlayStation. It has to say Microsoft Studios, just to give you an indication of just how petty Sony actually is. Sony did want Crimson Desert to be exclusive, and Crimson said, no, that's not what we want. I need more exercise, I need more of everything. I need more views, I need more shares, I need more likes. I need more memberships, more super chats, I need more of everything. And I need more time to play more games. But yeah, so Crimson Desert, this is a game that I'm not really that interested in. It's not for me. I did like Black Desert because the waifus were just amazing in there. And they looked awesome. But it wasn't enough to keep me entertained. The gameplay loop was just really bad. Gosh, they sent me a message. Ah, thank you. Let's see what the Suziano sent me. $2 million wishlist. Sheesh. As well as being Xbox Play Anywhere, now has 2 million on the wishlist. Clearly, 1,900,000 is on Xbox. 499 is on PC, and the single one is Darren on PlayStation. I mean, Crimson Desert has been in development for a while, and this one was basically Black Desert online, but offline mode, right? So this one was always going to be different. But I do agree with you. They're all kind of following that same trope now. They're not changing because it worked for one company, so now all of them want to emulate the same success, and they're just constantly doing it. Even Where Winds Meet, that Chinese free-to-play game, gacha game, that's now, it started off with like a cool kind of story, but the next expansion now is going and meeting the Chinese gods. They all kind of follow that same philosophy. Everything has to involve that sort of cultural impact. I don't know, it's just weird. But what worked for one is not working, it doesn't work for everyone. I'm wondering if Crimson Desert is going to break people's PCs. Nah, it's not Crysis. Black Desert's combat loop was just horrible, that's why. Having to kill the same enemy 10 times to get a random rating for gear level drops, and if it didn't work, you had to go back to town, suffer amnesia through an NPC, then go back out and defeat the same enemy another 10 times and hope that RNG Jesus is on your side to give you a good rating, and if it didn't, you go back and do the same thing over and over again with every single enemy creature that you find that drops loot. Yeah, that's not fun at all. That's boring as hell. No one's got time for that. No one. Right? But hey, hopefully Crimson Desert doesn't have that, right? No one is a fan of that feature. Persona 4 was awesome, man. I loved Persona 4. Persona 4 Golden was just so good. My favorite scene is still the camp scene when Chie and the girls were cooking and you had to eat that cooking. It was, and when the guy tells you, don't do it, man, it ain't worth it. Nothing is worth it. And you're still brave enough to take. I just want to see that scene reenacted in real time on like latest visuals. Oh, that's great. Sweet. Thanks, Devastator. What the Chinese do is make a game on an Earth-like planet that begins with S, and a race of creatures emerge out the ground day one and have a coalition of ordered governments fight back. So you want them to have God of War? Weird. Rachie, what was the one that who was the one that was their family owned the inn? That was the one I went for. So, Rayman 30th Anniversary Edition has been rated in Australia for PlayStation 5 and Switch. I assume this is coming to Xbox, right? This would be hilarious if it didn't come to Xbox. This has to have an Xbox release as well, right? Yukiko, yeah, that was the one I went for. I can feel the knife is hitting me hard. Where's Rayman 4? So, from what I understand is, if this game sells well, Ubisoft will make another Rayman. If this game does not sell well, there will be no more Raymans. Hazardor would have put it on there. I see nothing. There's nothing here. Let's see. Rayman 30th Anniversary. Maybe it's been removed? Yeah, it looks like it's not even there anymore. Yeah, it's been removed entirely. It was on there, but it's come off. Will it sell? That's a good question. That's a good question. Will it sell? I don't know. But if it doesn't sell, there's no more Raymans coming. Guess there won't be more Raymans if it's not on Xbox and PC. It'll flop. So this is actually interesting. So in Turkey, they are going to cripple the download speeds for Steam, Epic, GOG, anything that's available, basically. That's a launcher on PC. For all platforms. This isn't just a Steam thing, Epic, all of them. Because Turkey are now they've got a draft going through their... Well, they don't have a parliament anymore because the president abolished it the first day he went in. So they've got a bill going through that's more than likely going to pass that basically requires any company that wants to have their stuff on Turkish shores has to have an office in Turkey, and they have to have a Turkish representative as well working there to deal with the day-to-day ongoings, you know, between them and the government. So, yeah, this is actually becoming a big thing in Turkey because a lot of people, the gamers basically, are protesting against this at the moment. This is massive. They're not happy about it. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens, whether these companies are going to cave in or are they just going to pull out from Turkey altogether. You can't use a VPN in Turkey. Turkey is a very dictatorial state. They know and see everything. But if Steam, Valve and Epic want to continue business, they need to have a regional office there with regional data centers. Not just an office, but they're going to need to invest in data centers in Turkey. This is involving online play as well, Raichi. I'm saying Turkey. Hey, what can I say? I could say Turkey. Would that be better? Hey, look, that's Windows Central for you, man. They were using Copilot. What do you want me to do about that, Ghosty? Go blame Copilot for that. So yeah, they want data centers built in Turkey, and they want regional offices, or Valve, Epic, all of them won't be able to have their, well, they can still have their stuff there, but their internet is going to be capped, like, stupidly badly. Don't ask me. I'm not the government. The guy's a dictator. He does what he wants, whatever he feels like. Hey, enjoy the weather, man. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy it as it comes. Well, there's only one person left, so he wants to make sure that he's paying his dues, right? You want that way in the US too? Even if it makes you enemies. Don't give Starmer any idea. He's our dictator, man. Mr. Starmer is our dictator, through and through. That guy is like literally a walking hazard machine. Oh, come on, Brick. I thought you loved Keir Starmer. He's like your number one guy. You told me that if Keir Starmer released as a gacha, you would put like $1 million into it, just so you could make sure that he was the best character ever. You're not wrong with the amount of arrests going on in social media because of that guy. So dumb. Who, Keir Starmer? He just makes silly policies and pisses a lot of people off. Hey, look, we're not even going to talk about the reform. Nigel is just completely off the table. That could be happening one day. Who knows? I mean, they're more Tories than the actual Tory team now, right? But yeah, I thought that was interesting how that's actually progressing. And that's on the back of this stuff, right? Not sure if you guys saw my video on this, but this isn't about the DLC that people were actually thinking it was. Locking them into the ecosystem. I don't know what Tim Sweeney was actually talking about, but this has got nothing. This is a two-pronged attack that Steam is now facing, but this is a wider spread thing. So this is going to affect gaming as a whole. They're just doing it to Steam, but PlayStation is also being sued for the same thing at the moment and is going on trial via the Polish regulators. It's essentially the same case, but just a different. This time it's the UK UK citizens getting involved in this class action, and so this is targeting the 30% that these these companies are charging, as well as the accused price fixing that Steam does with other platforms. So what's being alleged here, and apparently there's proof of this that wasn't actually shown, but the courts have accepted whatever's being shown as good enough evidence for this to go to trial, is that if, let's say, you put a game on Steam to sell, and that game then basically gets that 30% charge that Valve charges. That charge is passed on to the customer, that 30%. So when it's at £70, that 30% that's in that £70 is passed on to the consumer to pay. Now, let's say Ubisoft said, okay, well, we're going to put it on our own launcher, and we don't have that 30%, so we're not going to charge that 30%. Steam would turn around to Ubisoft and say, if you price it less than ours, we will remove it off Steam. Now, the problem with that is Steam has the biggest market share of around 90%. And so, technically, they are on the money of a monopoly in terms of market share. They have the power to do that. And we all know that if a game isn't on Steam, it doesn't do well. And Valve knows this. So they're using that power and bullying these other studios, these other publishers around in getting what they want. Now, Valve tried to argue this claim and tried to dismiss it. And the judge basically threw all of Valve's claims out the window and said, nope, we're not accepting any of that because that's a whole lot of baloney. And the other, the Steam OS team basically countered everything, and it was accepted, and now it's going to trial. I'd ban waifu instantly. Hell no. Hell no. You are not banning. Can you imagine video games without waifus? Man, gachas wouldn't be gachas. See, that's the other side of it, Devastator. Would Ubisoft or EA actually reduce their prices on their launcher if that 30% would, disappear? That's a good question. Now, we know Microsoft and Epic actually do offer a lower rate in 12%, I think it is, to publishers. And to my understanding, none of that saving is passed on to the consumer anyway. So I assume that's going to be looked at as well in these pricings. But essentially, the whole situation here is that the consumer isn't getting the best price possible because of that 30%. Now, if that 30% gets challenged, and Steam loses this, then all these companies, Microsoft, Valve, all of them, are going to have to adjust prices based on that 30%. Or at least the publishers are going to be better off, which means their profit margins are going to go up, which would then lead to less studios and less, the profit margins for their games would go up, which means less games failing, less games doing bad, less people losing their jobs. So it will have a knock-on effect regardless, whether it's passed on to the consumer or to job security. One way or another, it is going to have an effect. But I don't expect this to be resolved within a year or two at the earliest. Alan Wake 2 is a prime example that didn't release on Steam and people refused to buy it on PC. A smaller chance of game price increase as well, yeah. This should lead to a price decrease, if anything, Devastator, not an increase. But that's the thing. That's the situation with this. I saw so many sites that were actually talking about how it's about trapping people in the ecosystem for the DLC, and it's got nothing to do with that. Maybe that was the original case. I know Wildfire or Wolfire originally was talking about the 30% and the DLC. Maybe that's where they got their things mixed up. But all you had to do was just read the case and figure out what's going on. And essentially, that's it. They're being the biggest thing is that Steam is now being accused of price fixing and price manipulation and holding publishers at ransom because they have the power to do it. And Valve tried to basically not unearth that. Because don't forget, right? Everyone talks about Valve's ability to refund games for within 2 hours and how they're so consumer friendly and they don't ask anything. Valve fought tooth and nail for you not to have that right. They fought for years So you wouldn't have the right to have that 2-hour return policy. It was the Australian courts that basically told them no, and Valve lost that case, and that is why you have that 2-hour return policy. Valve didn't give you that return policy out of the goodness of their heart. They lost the case. They fought hard for you not to have that right. So when I see all these Steam bros going out like saying Valve is all this and all that, no, they're just like any other corpo. They're there to make money and there to take your money. Like any other corpo. Microsoft, PlayStation, all of them. Sony, they're all the same. Make no mistake. They're all there for greed and money. And if they can get away with it, they absolutely will. And if they are accused and caught for price fixing, that's even worse. But time will tell if that actually, what will happen. The court cases are going to go on for a number of years. Most likely, this is going to drag out because all the defense that Valve had was thrown out the window. It got rebutted, and they got left with their, tail wagging between their legs. I saw something about that, but I didn't have that information up. So if someone wants to send me a link. Are you posted in the Discord news section? Is it a tweet or something I can bring up? There was one more thing I wanted to add towards this that I did forget, which is going to affect indie companies big time. So even if Valve and Epic were to put their stores and comply with all regulations, in Turkey now, every game is going to need to be certified, which means it needs to have an age, like in the UK we have PEGI. It needs a rating. Now, indie companies generally don't provide a rating, and because it costs money, right? And they don't have the money to do it. So, give or take, about 60% of the Steam catalog won't be available in Turkey. And if you have any of those games that don't have an age rating, even if you've paid for them, they will instantly disappear from your launcher. Sucks to be them, right? Are you posted in the... What? In the Discord? Indie games need to have a... Is this my Epic's game, or is this just in general? So indie games will need to have an age rating. And right now, they do not have one. And because they don't have one, they are not legally allowed to be sold in Turkey. Yeah, see, this bit here is probably what we want, right? This is what we want. Epic Games Store 2025 year in review. Yeah, I'm not reading all this. There's no read for all that. What we want is this. Total PC users is 317 million plus. Nearly 972 million Epic cross-platform accounts. That's an increase by 8%. 78 million monthly active users in December 2025. That's an increase of 6%. Their average is 67 million, which is under one. They lost down by 1%. And their average daily is at 31 million, which is down by 2%. Their total store gameplay hours is 6.65 billion hours, which is down by 14%. Their total third-party gameplay hours, what's the difference? I'm guessing that's first party and third party, is 2.78 billion, which is up by 4%. Spent 1.16 billion spent by PC players on the Epic Games Store. That's an increase of 6%, which is good for Epic. They're happy with that. Anything in the plus is good. 400 million spent on players on third-party PC games in the Epic Game Store. 400 million on Alan Wake 2 is pretty insane. See what one game can do? 57% increase. That's just Alan Wake. Free games offered, 100. Average score across all free games is 78%. Free games claimed, 662 million. Total redeemed value per player, $2,316 based on US prices. So that's their year in review. So it's outside of the actual average MAU and DAU, it seems, and obviously the gameplay hours here, it seems pretty positive. You think it's a personal one at 400 million spent? Hey, look, Alan Wake 2. That's all I'm saying. Exclusives, right, folks? Exclusives. This is the power of exclusives. That one game is exclusive, 400 million cashed in on that third party. All I'm saying. News from Fallout special presentation, 6 PM. What, today? So Steam made more revenue in December than Epic made in 2025 as a whole. Yeah, Ghosty. And that is why that is going to be held against them in the trial. Because they are just so big. And, you know, if they're caught with their pants down price fixing, Valve is going to get hit really hard. Really, really hard with this. They're going to be hit in ways. And don't forget, right? Now that you've got the UK regulator involved, you know, UK is taking them to court. It's not going to be long before the regulators in the UK take another look at Valve. You've got the Polish regulators looking at this. And if there's any traction at all on this, which there will be, this is going to open the doors for other regulators, like in Germany, in Spain, in France, to start looking at this, right? This is something that Valve doesn't want, especially if it has skeletons in its cupboard, you know, in their wardrobe somewhere. They do not want this. But you're going to start getting regulators poking and prodding everywhere because they're going to want a piece of that pie as well. So Valve can get into real shit with this. Pardon my French. But they can get into real trouble with this. So it's a big thing. Now, this doesn't include anything with the Steam keys, right? This is nothing to do with the Steam keys. Steam can charge and do whatever they want with the Steam keys. It's their keys and their prerogative. This only includes stuff that doesn't control, you know, isn't affecting Valve in any way. But they're still basically telling people, hey, if you don't do this, you're not going to put your game on Steam. Check Discord. Oh, I saw this. I wasn't really sure what it was, though. What? That's not what I wanted to do. What are you doing? God damn it. Alright. So we have official notice. Good morning, Vault Dwellers. This notice to remind you that tonight's special presentation begins at 6 PM PT, which is 1 AM our time. We look forward to seeing you there. Will be snacks for those of you who have not watched the previous presentations. You are hereby excused from all other activity today and or tomorrow to catch up. This is the official recommendation of the Presentation Consumption Subcommittee, which we just organized last week. We trust your overseer will understand. This is probably Fallout on Prime. Yeah, this is for the TV series. This is for the TV series. But hey, who knows, man? Who knows? It might happen. It might happen, folks. With the final episode of Fallout, which I've only seen episode 1, to be fair. I don't know why I haven't watched the rest, but I'm kind of waiting for it to all kind of land and then watch it. But who knows? Maybe the remaster might get shadow dropped. Fallout stream tonight at 1 AM. I might watch episode 2 tonight. I might watch episode 2 after stream. Oh, Steve's off. Have a good night, Steve. Did anyone see this? Anbernic RG Vita and RG Vita Pro to make their debut. They are never going to escape the allegations. It's for the Champions League. Didn't realize Fallout was on there. There you go. No audio, please. Alright, this is the new handheld. RG Vita. I mean, it's literally a PlayStation Vita, man. Oh my god, it's literally a PlayStation Vita. It even has the grips on the back. You can even make a phone call with it? Was that? Oh no! Is that audio? What is that? It must be audio. It has to be audio. I just noticed that. Why would they do that? Why would they put B and A there? Why not A and B? That is so dumb. Kindly provide replaceable PlayStation face buttons. They're going after us now. This looks amazing, but they forgot the lanyard holes. Okay, how about RGDS Pro with correct SoC now? Oh wow, the PS Vita is one of my favorite handhelds. Very much looking forward to this one. Man, there has to be some form of like copyright. Yeah, man. There has to be something. That's ridiculous. That's redonkulous, man. That's not even normal. You think that's the only thing they're ripping off? Leave. New Xbox handheld? No. So what do you guys think of what the main dude for High Guard said? The High Guard boss. The player count doesn't matter. These for emulation? Who knows, Susano? They're supposed to be he's clearly an awesome fan. Yeah, but I know they're doing it because they basically designed these things to emulate Nintendo games, so they put it like that because it will be the same as. I mean, you can technically emulate it on the ROG, right? It plays well. If player count doesn't matter, what does matter? I don't know, man. I'm guessing how many people bought the game. If enough people bought the game, no, this game is free to play, right? So they're not even buying it. So I'm guessing microtransactions is the only thing. Wait, there's a bus tour? A bus tour for what? Wait. A bus tour for what? Where's the waifus? Where is the other one? Let me see if I can find it. See if I can find it. See, did they do a trailer for this? No? Alright. We'll go with this one. Alright, folks. You asked for it. I'm giving it to you. Leaf was saying that was a DS, right? This is from Neo. We'll get back to the high guard thing in just a second. Oh, this is a different one. This is a bad one. Let's try that one. Nope, no audio for you. Are you happy? Are you happy? Is that what you were after, Leaf? A complete DS? Does that make you happy now? We don't want to know you, we just want to see this. Imagine the DS gaming on that one. This thing is basically made to emulate 3DS and DS. 32 gigs of RAM. It's been crazy, man. Crazy. But yeah, back to High Guard. So yeah, apparently player count doesn't matter in a multiplayer game. I'm guessing the only thing that matters is microtransaction money. I think Iron 4 was the one I was actually looking for. I think that was the one I was actually looking for. Iron 4. Let me see. It was. It was that one. Hopefully this isn't going to get me demonetized. Let's have a look. Here you go, here you go. Yep, that's going to get demonetized, so it's off it goes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Nintendo said we're getting rid of the DS. But Ein said no. Bad Nintendo. Bad. I love how they make these like make people think that they're super powerful and everything. Now that is a true Nintendo DS. You got the volume rocker here, the power. You need the stylus here in one of these two. I'm pretty sure the stylus was here, or was it on the side? I can't remember. I'll have to look at my 3DS. My 3DS XL. Anything new on Xbox? What did we cover today for Xbox? Let's see. Just briefly going through. We had the Division Definitive Edition come out. More games coming to Game Pass. Pirate Yakuza. Kingdom Come Deliverance. High on Life. That is landing there. Not that. Not that. There was a bunch of talk about Obsidian in regards to Grounded was a big hit. No Outer Worlds 3. They're going to focus on Avowed and Pillars of Eternity, and that they're a bit disappointed that they couldn't make the game they wanted to with Avowed, being a crossover between Skyrim and Destiny. The 30% margin that Amy Hood and Satya Nadella imposed is the reason games are being put on PlayStation. So it wasn't a Phil Spencer decision. It's a thing that was enforced by the dynamic duo trio. Crimson Desert is coming to Play Anywhere. And that's about it for the Xbox news. And we did get to the High Guard boss saying that the player count doesn't matter, which is weird. But Stellar Blade fans, keep an eye on this game. If you liked Stellar Blade, apparently this is a new game that's coming. It's called Reblade, The Death Spiral. Published by Spiral Up Games, featuring a Stellar Blade looking female protagonist and a combat similar to Eve. So I'm not sure if anyone's seen this yet. Maybe I'll just put it down a little bit so we can have some sound. I'm not sure if anyone's seen this yet, but this looks kind of cool. There's no platform that it's being announced for as of yet. So right now it's still up in the air, I believe. Don't know if this appeals to anyone, but it's got some nice mechanics that I saw, which could make it interesting. Got some good parrying effects there as well. Graphically, it's not a bad game. Any good Sony news? None really. Outside of the fact that they're still being sued in Poland. I don't know, this looks kind of cool. I like the way it completely like disarmed. Would you kindly break the Death Spiral? So I don't know if this is like a roguelike game because it's called the Death Spiral, so you'll die. Well, it's on Steam and that's the only platform it's announced for. So I don't really know much about it, but it looked interesting. What did PlayStation have this month? I didn't even see. Anti-competitive behavior over the 30% and not being able to purchase stuff from other stores like everyone else allows. Hey, look, it's got a waifu. I'm going to check it out, okay? Don't judge me. Diablo, as long as it has a waifu in there, I'm good. I can give it a go. Even if it does mean no, not exclusives, just other stuff like what is it? The top-up cards that you can buy. You can't buy them anywhere else, or vouchers or PlayStation Plus or stuff like that. Being able to buy it from other stores, they don't allow you. But I think they're mainly targeting the 30% that Sony charges. It's obviously going to impact everyone else as well, but they're suing Sony for it. And they've thrown in a few more things to sue them as well. Yeah, I haven't seen Mando, what PlayStation are offering. Now, we did have some PlayStation news, and that is the PS5 Pro PSSR, which I touched on earlier, is expected to be announced and released in the Q1 of 2026. So apparently there's a state of play happening next week. If there is, we're going to be checking that out live here. Decent chance that it will be announced during the Sony presentation. So yeah, we'll see what this PSSR 2 update is all about and see what it does. And of course, if there's a state of play, a third-party state of play, because they don't have enough first-party games to actually do a solo state of play, we'll see what that means. The Portal is having... That's a rumor, right? The PS OLED. That's a rumor that PlayStation Portal is coming with an OLED. But it's possible that it will land at some point. Of course, Sony have less money than Microsoft. But if you look at PlayStation as opposed to Xbox as individual companies, then maybe they have more. Hey, Power Boss, how's it going? So yeah, we'll see what happens with that next week. I mean, it does make sense, and I probably would get rid of my Portal and, you know, pick up the OLED. There's no point in me having two of them. Although I did pick up my Portal for $80, so I actually got a really good deal for my Portal. Tired, just got home, driven my mother to... I think the big topic was Obsidian and how they felt kind of like strong-armed into stuff. Releasing free games just didn't work out for them, and Outer Worlds 3 and... Well, Outer Worlds 2 and Avowed just didn't meet expectations and didn't do well for them. And I'm guessing the pre-orders for Outer Worlds 2, the Avowed, isn't living up to what they were hoping for. So it looks like releasing free games in 1 year just wasn't a very good idea. The problem with VR is, like any accessory, if it's not released with the hardware, it's not going to be a competitor to anything, and it won't do well. Like, one of the best VR games out there right now is Half-Life Alyx. It's phenomenal. My kid played it, and he's played a lot of VR. He plays like VR quite a lot. And I mean, if his PC could actually stream VR, he would stream VR. But even he said Half-Life Alyx is the best game he's played in VR. But that's not enough to shift anything. Now, the thing that Xbox tried to do that basically would have made things different, right? What Xbox tried to do with the Kinect was release the Kinect with the console And so if they sold when they sold 60 million Xboxes, they would have sold 60 million Kinects. So if you're Capcom and then you see that 60 million people have a Kinect, you're inclined to make a game for Kinect because your market is 60 million. Now when you look at it, how many people have a Kinect? You don't know. Now the same thing happens with the PlayStation 2 VR or the MetaQuest, right? How many people on MetaQuest is a multi-purpose tool, so it's not just for gaming. But with the PSVR 2, if that was, sold with the PS5, let's say they shipped 90 million consoles now, that would have been 90 million PSVR 2s. PSVR, the VR scene would have blown up. But because it's not sold with the console, these studios do not know how many people are playing it, let alone using it. Especially with the ones that that have it. Because no one is making games for it that's, enticing or worth playing. And so VR will never take off until it becomes more mainstream. PlayStation just released a VR headset for the sake of it to just be in that market. The PSVR 1 wasn't very good because Sony stopped supporting it. The PSVR 2 wasn't very good because Sony stopped supporting it. And if they don't support it, no one else will. Just like the PSP and the PS Vita. Sony didn't support the PSP nor the PS Vita. So third-party studios said, why should I support it? So a lack of first-party support is missing. And on top of that, the attach rate of how many people actually have it compared to don't have it is up in the air. Those numbers are never really truly released. So companies aren't investing in it. So VR can't really blow up because no one is willing to take the risk of making a game for it that may or may not sell. Just look at Deadpool. There's 3 million MetaQuests sold? 4 million MetaQuests sold? And no one bought it. No one enough to actually have the studio shut down. Meta just shut them down because they didn't really return the investment. So you don't look at the PC side of things because that 3 million means nothing. It's niche anyway, to be fair, 3 million. But if they had sold, say, 50 million or 60 million because of bundling with it, that would have made a big difference. So it matters. The number of items you sell matters. And until they become more mainstream, it's not going to work. It's not going to blow up. You'll get a few games here and there that are cool, but in reality, it's always going to be niche. Whoop it. The investment for VR is high, but if you as a studio knew, or as a publisher knew, that on Xbox there is 50 million, let's say the Series X and S sold 60 million consoles, and it came bundled with HoloLens. As a publisher, third-party publisher, would you be inclined to make a game for HoloLens that has 60 million homes, or would you be inclined to make a game for HoloLens when you have maybe a rough idea of 10 million maybe being sold? No, this is what I'm saying, Woodpit. That sort of thing needs to be bundled with the hardware in order to be successful. And this is why Microsoft wanted the Kinect, which is why I started off with that example. The Kinect needed to stay bundled with the Xbox. When Xbox One launched with the Kinect, the idea was every console sold had a Kinect. So you'd get more games going for it. And at launch, you had so many people making games for Kinect. But as soon as Microsoft offered a bundle that didn't have Kinect, no one made games for it. It just died instantly. Because publishers no longer had a verifiable fact of how many units were sold. What's happening in Discord? Wait, where's the no? I don't see the no option. I don't see the no option. This is wrong. This is wrong. No, tell them that it's wrong. These guys want me to stream Paw Patrol. See, even my wife is saying you're crazy. So yeah, that's the thing with VR or any accessory peripheral that's made for it, right? It has to be bundled with the console as part of the deal. The moment that happens, it will succeed. Well, it has a really good chance of succeeding. But the moment you take it away, it's done. You won't know how many people have got it. At that point, the investment becomes harder and the return of interest becomes even harder. So it's just not worth it. And that's why it won't succeed. But you know what? Maybe one day I'll stream Half-Life Alyx. That is a really cool game. I don't know how long I can play VR now because I haven't played VR in probably 6 months. Even though I've got a PSVR, a Meta Quest 3 and all of it. It's been a while since I've used the VR. So I have no idea how long I can...
Celebrates 16 months of membership. Paw Patrol for the next Let's Play. Do it.
I haven't finished Resident Evil 4. I keep saying Resident Evil. Maybe one day I'll play Resident Evil 4. But I still haven't finished Silent Hill 4. I need to finish that first. Yeah, but Vince, at that point, it probably would have been about $699.99. They would have eaten the cost. They would have had to eat like £200-300 of the cost. A year's supply of PlayStation Plus and a couple of games, or maybe 4 or 5 games, would need to be sold on the digital store before they made their money back on the total. That's how companies usually made their money back. They subsidized, right? It would need to be heavily subsidized, but that's the only way it can work. You're not going to get that anymore. You're not going to get companies subsidizing. The next Xbox or PlayStation is not going to be subsidized. It's just not happening. No, this doesn't sound thing. This doesn't sound like a good idea. Alright. For those of you that like Crunchyroll, as of March 2026, prices are increasing in the US. The fan tier goes from $7.99 to $9.99. The mega fan tier goes from $11 to $13.99. And the ultimate fan tier goes from $15.99 to $17.99. They are increasing the price. It'll be effective and will apply to the next billing cycle after March the 4th. So if you're on March the 5th, sucks to be you, you'll be getting the new pricing. The UK is going to get a price increase as well, 100%. There's no denying, no stopping that. AI right now is in a bit of trouble because it's basically a sinkhole that's draining money, and companies are not very happy. Well, the governments aren't happy because there's no real return on investment, and it's not looking good.
FYI, Chaos 22 to 23 Connect games launched with XP1.
By the way, Ghosty, thank you so much for the 16 months membership. I appreciate it. And another super chat here. Thank you so much, Mac22TH54. FYI, Chaos 22 to 23 Connect games launched with Xbox One. I know, a lot. But how many released after they stopped bundling it with the console? Almost none. And by the way, fun fact. When Sonic Riders was in development, I felt sorry for those people that would... It was a good workout. It's a good thing that they had showers at Sega where I used to work. It's a good thing they had showers because after every session they needed to shower. that Connect made sure people had to bring utilities to work because showering was mandatory after they finished testing that game. It'll be 17 in a week's time. Yeah, AI is like in trouble right now because they're not doing any real progress with it, and institutions are now starting to ask questions. Investors are asking questions, and so it's a bit of a problem. And if it pops, it's not going to do well. I used Connect. I liked Connect. I was a fan of Connect. It's just a shame that it went away. If you were PlayStation, how would you compete with PC? Release multiplayer games day and date, and then leave single player games either 1 to 2 years exclusive on PlayStation, or just not release them on PC entirely and just leave them indefinitely on PlayStation. In fact, if I wanted to bring more people over to the PlayStation platform, I just wouldn't release on PC entirely. People would buy the console. But the fact that people now know that if they wait a year, they can play their game on PC, they're less inclined to go to PlayStation. But if those games never went to PC, they'd buy a PlayStation because they want to play those games. That simple. No matter which way you look at it, exclusive sell consoles. Yeah, it did, but they didn't actually use AI in the game. They were experimenting with some stuff, but they never really used it. But that award show that took the award away from Expedition 33, they just wanted to make a name for themselves, and they did. They became dickheads and the joke of the community, and no one now even cares about their award show because they're just garbage. It had the complete opposite effect. No one even remembers their name. Because I don't, for sure. And no one cares. They tried to do this kind of power play and be like the only one that made a stand of something as soon as they found a technicality, and it backfired instantly. No one cares. They got massive negative PR from it. They got huge backlash. And yeah. They got what they deserved. And I'm happy that they got absolutely destroyed. For the time being, Jesse, for the time being. We still have the summer to come by. I reckon September you'll hear that it's been delayed till 2027. Already acknowledged that majority of the PC gamers won't, but they do, Vince. If you don't put the games on there, people will buy it. Put a game that's a system seller on there, and people will buy it. They won't buy it for just any game. It needs to be a system seller. Games like Wolverine are a system seller. Spider-Man is a system seller. Right? The IP has to be big. It's a system seller. But now, you know, Herman Hulse said, we're only putting Horizon because we think it's a perfect fit. It's just a one-off thing, and that's it. Don't expect any more. This was just, you know, a game that we thought was perfect for the PC community. And then they said, yeah, we're going to be putting games on like 2 years, maybe 3 years. I think it was like 4 years, and then it dropped down to 2 years for first-party games, and then remasters and remakes went day and date because they weren't new IP apparently, so that changed as well. And then from the 2 years, it went down to like a year and a half, and then with Spider-Man 2, it went down to 1 year and like, what, 3 months? So it's just 4 games, right? So they actually had, you know, Herman Hulse has been changing the formula every step of the way. But they're doing it in such a slow way. Actually, yeah, Dragon Quest VII released today, right? Didn't it? Let me have a look. Xbox. I wonder if it's Play Anywhere. It is, and it's available for pre-order. It's not released yet. Why is it not released yet? Apparently you can play it if you pre-order or buy like the deluxe edition, I think, for $70. You can buy it now and play it. I think the official release date is maybe tomorrow. I know, it doesn't feel very Toriyama, does it? I mean, I know he's no longer with us. I'm just saying. It just feels a really weird art style. I don't know. It just doesn't look very... I don't know, man. It just doesn't look very Toriyama to me. Why is the rum gone? Steve drank it all. I don't know, there's something about the art style that I really don't like. I want to play this, but I'm really not liking the art style. Is anyone else finding the art style weird? If Disney made a console, could they compete with PlayStation with Marvel IP and Star Wars? I don't think so. I don't think they have enough games to really... I mean... They would need to... If they took back everything, Blade, Wolverine, Spider-Man, maybe. But then you'd need the third-party games to kind of support it. And, I don't know. I just don't see Disney doing it. I don't even think that's Studio Ghibli. Studio Ghibli is like the Spirited Away, right? This don't look like... I don't know, it just look... I don't like it. It looks like... Yeah, clay! That's the one that word. It doesn't look like it... You know... I don't know, like... It just looks wrong. It looks wrong on all, you know... On all points. Yeah. There is a demo to this game, so you can play the demo if you want to. If you search for Dragon Quest VII demo, on Xbox. You can find it. Yeah, it's very generic. I still want it though. It is £60, so the early bird edition gives you the Trodian tags appearance change costume for your hero, a seed of proficiency ×3. These items will only be available to customers who purchase the game by 23/29 on March 4th, 2026. The seed of proficiency is an item that can be obtained by progression in the game. These bonus items can be received from the Claim Special Rewards menu in-game. Purchase bonus, Green Slime Shield. This bonus item can be received from the Claim Special Rewards menu. There's more to the world than this island, and we're going to prove it. It is 4K Ultra HD, not surprising with those graphics. Single player 60 FPS plus. Optimized for Series S and X, PC gamepad, and Xbox Play Anywhere. So I will buy this version because it's Xbox Play Anywhere. There's your green slime shield, there's your proficiency, and there's the extra costume, which they're not really showing you. There. I'm being demanded to check Discord. What is this? Dude, what is this? Leaf, what is that? What is that abomination? Is this what number 7 actually looked like before? If so, I guess it's technically an accurate representation. Is this what 7 was before? Oh, this is the 3DS Dragon Quest 7. Oh, Jesus. So they just took this and redid the models. You guys are weird, wanting me to play those crap games. What an interesting thing. Alright, so a quick note from me. So as you guys know, I'm doing a lot of Let's Plays at the moment, especially with the fact that there's no real news going around. News is quite slow in terms of making videos, so I have been doing a lot of Let's Plays. I am going to have to start unlisting those Let's Plays because it is really hurting the channel algorithm.
23 months of membership, almost 2 years, almost also like the video.
Hey, Chili with the almost 2 years, almost also like the video. Hey, thank you for the 23 months, Chili. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm going to have to start unlisting those videos. I'm going to put them in a playlist. So for those of you that want to check them out, they'll be in the playlist for you to check out. But I am going to have to start unlisting those after the stream because it's just crazily impacting the algorithm on the channel. Not something I can really help. But I am doing Let's Plays and stuff on this channel, so if you guys want to tune into those and watch them, feel free to do that because, you know, we have a bit of fun, especially when you get to see my amazing gameplay. But that was really the big one that I wanted to mention because it's something that I know some people do decide to go and check the VODs on. They will still be there, but just in unlisted form. I didn't really understand that controller thing. I didn't get it. I wanted to understand what it was for. I know it's a touch capacitive thing. I don't understand it. Let me bring it up. PlayStation patent. Here you go. I don't really understand this. I know it's a all touch panel. You know, I don't really know who this is for. Yeah, I get that, but like, who wants this? I don't see the angry face. Or am I missing something? I get the fact that you can actually move them around and place them wherever you want to make it comfortable for you. But aren't people like against playing on a touchscreen? I don't like it. I really, really don't like it. It's not for me. This just seems like a really bad idea. Again, it could just be me, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I do my best to stay away from touchscreen controls. I don't know, man. If you want to see the old game in motion for Dragon Quest VII, I'll have a look. Just looking to see if there's anything else. Ken seems... The game Kayan? I don't know how to pronounce it. But that seems to be doing like the rounds at the moment, right? That game has become really popular now that it's not available on Xbox. I see everyone talking about it. I mean, I saw one person call it Game of the Year. Apparently Ken is Game of the Year. Okay, here's one, folks. The Valentine's Day event on 14 is really cute. Whose character is this? Whose 14 character is this? Jeff will give... Indeed it is. Steve, you know. No, it's Chili's character. It is Chili's character. Duh. Yeah, it is indeed Chili. Best £8 ever spent. Oh, is that a cosmetic item? Did anyone pick this up? Let it load. Let it load. Let it load. Did anyone pick this up? So I'm the only one in chat that actually picked this up. Man, I know there's some diehard Nintendo fanboys in here, and you guys don't even. Nah, that's crazy, man. There's some diehard Nintendo fanboys in here, and it's still easy. Ah, and I'm the only one that picked it up. It's the Virtual Boy. What did you think it was? It's not this. This is the actual Virtual Boy, the one that sits on the table and you use it. You can get this for £70, or you can get this for £15. That's just a cardboard that you can slide your Switch into. But this one over here is the real thing. The Virtual Boy was something that Nintendo released many years ago, and it has finally decided to resurface. They like capitalizing on such things. Let's see if I can change this to the UK. That's the Americas, that's the United Kingdom. Accept all cookies. Hardware. Do they have Nintendo Switch 2 accessories? Let's see. Well, it's not just a Nintendo Switch 2 accessory, is it? Let's see. Do they have? Where would I find this, man? Do they have a search on their website? Yes, they do. Virtual Boy. Because I know they have it. Because I pre-ordered it. Well, it doesn't look like they are showing the UK. Let's see. Can I sign in without needing my phone? Nope, I need my phone and I don't think it's on at all. Oh, it is on. So chat, I wanted to ask, outside of these streams, is there anything else that you guys would like to see on my channel? I'm trying to diversify a little bit with reviews, unboxings and stuff like that. But what other stuff would you like to see outside of recommending Paw Patrol, which is not happening? You guys will get one job, one game to make me suffer with. And you guys got to pick that carefully. Yeah, it's not even on their website anymore. They've just like completely removed it entirely. That is so crazy. They don't have the Virtual Boy on their store at all. That is interesting. Oh, wait, they do. They do. I found it. I found it. One second. Let's see if they've still got any stock. Because you need to be a Nintendo member on their website in order to be able to purchase it. So I don't know if they actually have or not. I'm just making sure that there's no details on this page of my order thing, and there isn't. But yeah, I don't know if you can pre-order it anymore. But it's £66 and 99 pence. I'm not going to risk that because it has to go into my details, so I'm not going to show that page. But yeah, I don't know if you can pre-order it anymore. I know it's sold out like in the US, and I'm guessing it's sold out here as well. It's going to be part of the Nintendo Online membership game, so you know. So yeah, you're gonna need online to download the games, but you'll be able to play them offline. They do the Nintendo member thing to stop scalpers, and it's a good thing to do. I think that's a great thing to do. I think when Xbox and PlayStation release their next console, they should do the same thing. You know, those that are on the Ultimate tier and on Premium can go and buy it directly from the PlayStation and Xbox. That way you can secure your thing. Because who's going to pay 360 quid or something like that for it? And it's one per order anyway. They also do that whole thing where you have to be a member for like 12 months or something, which again I think is really cool. Let's see what people were saying. It's kind of like a dock, so let me get a video for you so you can see what it is. Apparently people aren't happy with the whole red. Alright, so don't demonetize me, please. You're gonna demonetize me, aren't you? So you get Galactic Pinball. Look at that amazing graphics, man. You guys just don't know. These graphics are next gen. This is using the maximum power of the Nintendo Switch 2. Then you got 3D Tetris. Man, you guys just are not ready for this. Tele Roboxer. Mate, you guys aren't ready for the Punch-Out ripoff. This is what made Punch-Out. You got Virtual Boy Wario Land as well. This is probably going to be one of the best games on there. I have no idea what this game is. The Mansion of Innsmouth. Man, this looks amazing. Come on, guys. Just look at these graphics. Mate, he said they didn't like golf. Oh, yeah. Everybody's golf. Red alert. Oh, man. This is Vector all over again. If you make a mistake, you can rewind. How cool is that? You see, now you guys can't say that I'm trash. I will always rewind. This is so good. I don't know, man. I always wanted a Virtual Boy. And so I had to take it. I had to do it. I had to get one, man. And you can only play these games on the Virtual Boy. You can't play them without it. Look at that. Look at that. Mario Tennis. Let's go. You got Jack Bros. Space Invaders. Bowling. Oh, you even got shit. You even got standard Tetris. Previously unreleased games. 0 races. There's no races in this game. Just you and you on your own. There is no races at all. There's the Hopper, which was basically Pokemon. Change the screen color. Oh yeah, we're definitely going to have this in green because Xbox. Actually, the black and white doesn't look too bad either. So that's the actual device. Does this show you how it actually works? Okay, there we go. Go on, work. That sits on the table. That's it. It's like a VR thing, yeah. But you stick your DS in, your Switch in there, and then it sits on a table with those 2 arm joints that you see over here. Where is it? No. I can't remember what. Oh, there it is. So those little things there sits on top of the table. Those, I'm not sure if you can see my mouse. That basically sits on the table, and you sit down and you basically put the goggle on and you use the controllers to play. I didn't pay 100 for that. Are you crazy? And look, I'll be real with you, yeah? I'm going to be totally real with you. I say every year I'm going to cancel my Nintendo subscription. And every year I forget. And they charge me, and then I say, oh shit. I was supposed to cancel that. And I'll do it later. I'll cancel it later. And then another year comes by. And I've been basically doing the same thing for about 3 years now. 4 years. I know I'm bad. Yeah, I remember those. But, yeah, so every year I've said I'm going to cancel my Nintendo subscription. And I keep forgetting to do it. And I only remember after they charge me. I think it's like £15 a year, which isn't much. So I just keep it reoccurring now. Hey, £50 for a 5-year-old game is a lot of money. Chat, wouldn't you say £50 is a lot of money for a 5-year-old game? Anyway, what did you guys actually say? Subnautica not happening. You crazy with that? Is that it? All we had was Subnautica. Sanchez Gaming is high on something with My Little Pony. I said more stuff that you would like to see on the channel, not on the Let's Plays. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to see more of you at the Let's Plays because we only get about, what, 15 people turning up. I'd love to see more of you there. We do try to stream it a little earlier than normal. Usually starts at around 2 PM my time. So 8 hours before now. Is that right? Is my maths breaking? 12 hours before now. No? I was right. 10 hours before now. So I'd definitely love to see more of you at the Let's Play. Neo3, you mental. I'd be better off playing Elden Ring and crying and throwing my monitor out the window. Like I said, Pragmata I'm going to play. Hey, I said 15 people turn up. You're one of the 15. So here's the thing with the new game releases. Every time I stream a new game release, no one, like, I get like 5 people turning up. And that's the problem. People don't want to turn up for a new game release. I understand why. Don't get me wrong. I do understand why. People don't want to turn up for new game releases that come on Game Pass. Because people want to play it themselves. And honestly, we don't have a big enough community to write that off. But that's the reason why I've kind of gone for older games that people have played, that people can enjoy as well watching. I don't mind streaming newer games, but like 99, like if I get an average of about 15-20 people watching, if it's a new game, I get like 5 people. Sometimes even less than that. Has a character creator, so we're going to have one stream just for the character creator. I did want to check out, what game was it? What was that game? The sequel just came out. I did want to play the first one, but I also I'm currently going through Silent Hill 4, and I think there's Homecoming as well, which is the only other one available on consoles or PC that's released. Because the PS Vita and the PSP ones can't be... I don't want to emulate them, playing them on stream, because I can get into trouble for that. But I kind of wanted to go through the Resident Evil games after that. 2, 3, and 4. Because I've played the rest before Requiem. Don't think I'll get through them in time, but... There's those, and then there's Code Vein, which was another one I wanted to play. And then there's, there's a lot of gacha games coming out on the consoles as well. So there's stuff like that I could check out as well. Maybe the first Fable. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be streaming Silent Hill 4 tomorrow. We'll hopefully finish it tomorrow. So that would be good, because I do want to finally finish that game. I think Eileen is going to get murdered. At least that's what I think is going to happen. Because she doesn't like me very much right now. She keeps crying for her daddy. And, well, that's not supposed to happen, right? That's not supposed to happen, right? Oh, here's some big news. Just announced. Big news. Strauss Zelnick, Take-Two CEO, is confident of the November 19th, 2026 date for Grand Theft Auto 6. Because anytime you're getting closer to marketing beats, You're obviously in a place where your confidence level is as high as it can be. Marketing for GTA 6 will start in this summer. Take-Two confirms Grand Theft Auto 6 will launch on disc, so the rumors of a digital only is out the window. GTA 5 sold over 225 million copies, an increase of 5 million since November. Red Dead Redemption 2 sold over 82 million copies in total, an increase of 3 million copies since the last investor call. So, he is confident that he will not miss the November 19th date. So that means it's going to miss it, right? Hey, Foza, they're bringing it back because idiots like me are buying it. But I ain't even going to deny it. There is no reason and no shot for me to buy that. Absolutely not. There's literally no reason. I'm probably going to play it a few times and never touch it again. But the fact is, I'm buying it anyway just to check it out and see what it's like. And, yeah. They're releasing it because of idiots like me. 100% delayed to 2027. Oh, the first Descendant is coming to Xbox Play Anywhere soon. Why? I guess it's coming onto the PC app. Yeah, Wolverine is 2027. I bought a Switch 2 because I just wanted to buy one. Just in case there was a game that I wanted to play. I don't understand. Why am I getting so many of these waifu pics on my damn timeline? That's kind of cool, Pragmata. Does Sony even have anything for this year? They have Wolverine, which is probably going to be next year, but it's announced for this year. They have Saros, which is coming this year. And they have Marathon, which is this year. Marathon is soon, right? And Saros is not far away. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of people buying the collector's edition version of Marathon. And so people are really excited. Seems excited for that one. You know what's not coming? Elder Scrolls 6. Bad. High Guard is doing bad. But hey, just know that the High Guard boss says player count doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all. They don't care about the player count. What matters is they don't know. But not the player count. I don't know if they got a month, a bump or a whatever, but apparently player count doesn't matter when it comes to this game. So I'm not really sure what does matter. But folks, I think that's going to be where I call it for tonight. It's been a great stream. I'm going to be back tomorrow. I hope I'll see more of you tomorrow at the Let's Play. And if you guys are enjoying that, we'll do more of those and try out different games, just like I said. I am trying to find the right balance with certain things, mainly because those Let's Plays are really hurting the algorithm, because YouTube is just the way it is. So I'm not sure how we're going to go about it, but for the time being, they're still on this channel. So if you are interested, feel free to drop by tomorrow. But otherwise, I will see you all on Thursday. I'm gonna probably pick up Dragon Quest. It is play anywhere, so that's kind of cool. That means I can play it. Someone actually played Concord today. Oh, that's funny. But hey, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you all next time. But yeah, tomorrow around 10 hours before now, or I guess if it's midnight here now, so 12 to 14 hours from now is when I'm going to be streaming. Peace, folks. I'm out.